When I was younger, when I thought of climate change, I thought of polar bears. In my second grade class, I was first introduced to the concept of climate change. My teacher had shown us this video of a polar bear cub, and I can still remember its snow-white fur and bright, round eyes as it struggled to keep from drowning. Growing up, I've always loved animals, and I was heartbroken to learn about how climate change was threatening the lives of polar bears. But fast forward a few years. When I was 10, I visited China, and even among all the amazing food, family, and friends, my clearest memory was of the air. I remember all the smog surrounding the city, and I remember seeing all these people wearing masks covering their faces. I remember not wanting to go outside because of how terrible the air quality was. And that's when it hit me. I used to think that climate change would affect the next generation, or the children of my children, but it's happening now. Inspired, I've gone on to take several environmental courses at my high school, and I realized that climate change is more than just polar bears. It's about people. For the past 3 years, my environmental science teacher has shown us New York Times articles about climate change at the beginning of every single class. I realized that the face of climate change is not polar bears, but it's people. The face of climate change is that kid dying of thirst in Madagascar because of a drought, that's linked to climate change. It's that child in the Philippines who was already living in poverty, but whose conditions were only worsened by ever-increasing intensity of typhoons, again, linked to climate change. It's that family in Bangladesh who was displaced by the rising sea levels, again, linked to climate change. Because climate change is hitting women and children in developing countries the hardest, and these are the people who have the fewest resources to mitigate the damage. In my environmental science class, I also learned about all the rapid progress of technologies that can help us shift to a more sustainable future. But it's so frustrating seeing that behavioral changes and policy are not keeping up with these rapid advancements in technology. Technology and policy go hand in hand. Technology alone cannot simply end climate change. There's no single solution that can simply solve all our problems. These solutions are meaningless and pointless unless we actually implement them. And in many cases, we already have the technology to mitigate climate issues. We simply need to take action. Climate change is no bigger than each and every one of us. The two words climate change can sound intimidating. And you might be thinking, I'm just one person. How big of an impact can I really make? But just remember, there's many others out there just like you. Individual changes, from composting to turn off the lights, truly add up to make a difference. And this is what we've been trying to prove with Schools Under 2C, that change begins with the person you see in the mirror. We aren't just a compliance campaign, but we started an educational movement. So I challenge each and every one of you to make your own personal difference. I challenge you to be the change you want to see in your community. I challenge you to visit our website, www.schoolsunder2c.org, and take a pledge under the Join Us tab. We'll get in contact with you and send you a launch kit with resources, tools, and guides on how to get started to making an impact in your own community. Because standing together, we can make a real impact. Last but not least, I'd like to thank all of you for being here tonight, and a huge thank you to the Earth Island Institute for this amazing opportunity. And of course, thank you to the entirety of the Schools Under 2C team and our amazing teacher mentor, Mr. Mike Town, who is here with us in the audience today. Remember that together, we can change the fate of not just the polar bears, but we can change the world. Thank you.